So used as an edible, but it could also be used that way, ingested to help relax and bring stimulation to the genital region as well. So women who are having painful sex, like I said, there are women who have been having a lot of issues with infections, yeast infections, bacterial imbalances. They may have sexual trauma. Sexual trauma is one thing that can get a woman to be rigid and not open up. So gently massaging this oil on either you or your partner can really help to gently increase the blood flow and relax the area. I'm trying to see if there's any other notes I wanted to say before. Yeah. Also, you know, the terpenes, another thing with the full cannabis oil, full spectrum cannabis oil, is that the terpenes actually increase transdermal absorption of the medicinal compounds of the cannabis. So you also have, of course, the terpenes that play a role. So I believe that plants, everything in that plant or organism is meant to work together. So there's more than just the CBD that is beneficial about cannabis. So using the cannabis oil topically and vaginally is very antimicrobial, antiviral, antibacterial. It helps increase the blood flow to the penis or the vagina. So it's good to massage on the penis too prior to sex, because a man's penis can also affect a woman's pH. So it's just a good, safe sex measure, right? To help with the pH and just give that antimicrobial blood flow, increase sensitivity, helps to open up and relax, okay? So those are the main things that I needed to say. My 10 minutes are up. I think I made all my points. Thank you for listening, and speak to you all on the other side. Bye.
Great, excellent. All right, you guys hear me?
Yep.
Great, excellent. Let's bring on Makeda. Let's see if I can unmute her. Makeda, you still there? You have on?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we hear you excellently.
But you can't see me.
Yeah, we can't see you yet.
Okay, hold on. Wait. Because, oh wait. Okay. Can you see me now?
Yeah, we can see you and we can hear you. So
Good.
is there anything you want to add before we go to some quick Q&A or?
Yeah, well, there was a lot of things that the previous presenter said that I agreed with. The last presenter, Nora Safran, almost everything, a lot of things that she was speaking about with how important the breath is. I do a lot of work with teaching women how to use yoni eggs, and a huge part of that is the breath and getting women to connect to their sacral chakra, their root chakra, move the energy. And that's really important as well, along with the movement, the exercise, the dancing, and because the circulation of blood, talking about using the cannabis oil topically and how it helps with blood flow and circulation, but so does dancing, especially moving the hips and strength training and all of that. On the nutrition side of things, because I do have a background in nutrition and I'm very much into holistic nutrition. One thing that a lot of people are unaware of is that a lot of the animal fats actually help to increase our body's production, our body's natural production of cannabinoids. So it's very much linked to that as well. And nutrition is also hugely important. The other thing about using it topically, because a lot of people were having conversations about using it for viruses and all the, infections. And I also really believe in using cannabis oil for that reason too. But there's a lot of studies that show that it has tumor killing properties. And so an anti-cancer properties. So for women, I think that it's also very good to massage on the breast because it can be a good preventative measure against breast cancer and just helping the breast be healthy. And again, increasing that circulation. Nora Safran was talking about the importance of the heart. and heart energy, and that's completely true. It's also something that I incorporate with the yoni egg exercises that I do, is really working on the heart. And for women, our breasts are where our heart chakra is. So breast massage is also really, really important, and it increases also our estrogen and our hormones and the feelings of sensuality. So the cannabis oil can be used for that too, for breast massage. And also from the research I've done, I have found that the female reproductive organs actually have more cannabinoid receptors in the brain. And there's so many things, there's still so much research being done that they're not even sure all of the things that it does, but it definitely has some kind of modulatory effect on the female reproductive system. And also, last thing is that THC is more, it's more potent than the CBD. So like if a woman was using CBD, she would have to use twice as much as the THC. The THC binds more strongly to our CD1 and CB2 receptors. So that's the reason why I'm a fan of the full spectrum cannabis oil, because I feel like all of the compounds in the plant work together. And the THC actually has a more potent healing property. So I think that's all I wanted to say.
No problem. Now, Makeda, you are in 2 cities right now. I believe you're in Chicago as well as New York. So what's the best way to get a hold of you? What's your, tell me your email, your website.
My email address is thebodyscientist81@gmail. So that's the THE body BODY scientist SCIENTIST, the number 8 and the number 1 @gmail.com. And my website is not up, but I can be found on Facebook under my name, Makeda Valletta. I'm on Instagram. It's at _body_scientist. And I have tons of YouTube videos on my YouTube page, The Body Scientist 81.
Excellent, excellent. So do we have any questions out there, either for Shira Adler, Nur Shafan, or Makeda Valletta? Is there any questions out there? You can raise your hand or pop up, especially for some of the young ladies who are on there. Doc, okay, hold on, Doc. Let me unmute your mic. Go ahead, Doc.
I absolutely wanted to say thank you to all the warriors out here today. It's just been nourishing to my spirit, and I really don't speak much, but the time is now, and when I feel like I have to speak, I have to. And the ladies that came after us has been so nourishing. Everything that I believe and what I say, I've been behind the scenes for years, because for me, combining East and Western medicine has never been a mistake. It's always been a part of my spirit through my ancestors, and understanding it more now than ever is so important. And every woman that said everything today, right after us, has been touching everything from knowing your spirituality, knowing your sacred area, knowing your heart, knowing that sexuality is nothing wrong, to use the words like slut and hoe and stuff. That's not it. We're expressing ourselves. And now more than ever, we need to guide that in a more productive, nourishing, spiritual way, and not disowning anyone, but embracing it. So I thank you all, you ladies out there. It's very powerful. And you men that are here as well, is bringing the yin and yang. Because once we understand that we cannot live without each other, then we can prosper. When we nourish and respect our men, that's when we can respect our women, and vice versa. So what you have done, Richard Cox, has been so amazing, that is bringing so much vibration right now globally. It's not going to stop. We will continue to prosper. So I thank you all. I have to say that.
Thank you there, Doc. Thank you very much. Now, we did have some people post some questions. Someone posted, I think Makeda just answered it. They wanted to know, where do we purchase Makeda's oil?
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that the oil is called Miracle Nut. It's actually made by friends of mine in Detroit. They grow the cannabis in Detroit, and they get the coconut oil from their land in Jamaica. And so it's called Miracle Nut. To purchase it, you can email me directly at thebodyscientist81@gmail.com.
Excellent. I think we have one more question before we move on. I think it's coming from Marisol. Marisol, I think I just unmuted your mic.
Thank you, Richard. I would like to echo what Dr. Flora said. This has been really nourishing for mind, body, spirit. So many important points that you brought up, and I'm very grateful. And I'm also curious because I think for a lot of us in our families, we might be interested in this education and looking for ways to learn, but then how do we get family members? Like, I'm thinking of my tia who lives in Puerto Rico, and she has so many different chronic illnesses. And she's a woman, and she's a woman who also doesn't have a close relationship in her life. She doesn't have a partner. And so I want to open her up to these ideas around how you could use CBD to connect to yourself and to also heal. And so I'm curious, just your perspective on, since you've been doing this work for so long, how do you start to have these kind of conversations and open people up to these ideas?
Okay, was that question specifically for me? Or was
Yeah,
it for
or
everyone?
I guess I was just throwing it out there to anyone.
Okay, well, I'll
who,
hop on in there. I can hop on in there. So I would say
Thank
that,
you.
yeah, I would say that the philosophy that I've learned over attempting to convince people to do things that they don't want to do is work with the willing. That's a Stokely Carmichael thing, is that work with the willing. So you don't, that's within the first 15 minutes of talking with someone that's a potential customer or client, not so much customer, but a potential client, or someone in your family, for instance. Okay, well, let's start with family, because it's, we're talking about in the world, and family is two different things. So what I've learned about family oftentimes is it takes a bit more work with family, because they still, auntie such and such still looks at you like, this is little Marisol, so this is my niece Marisol. I know she's doing all these wonderful things, but auntie knows best. So it takes a bit more time and cultivation with family, so that they can really see you as the professional versus just the family member. I've found for myself working with family that it's best for me to just be the example. Like, I'm not going to try to hit them over the head to convince them that they need to eat this or do that, or be this or do that. I simply stand in that space of being the example, and in being the example, they look at you and they're like, Marisol, girl, you're looking good. What's happening? What is it that you are doing that's really creating this shift and this transformation? And then it kind of opens up the door for you to share more. When we're talking about people out in the world, for me, again, I only work with the willing, and you can figure out who's on board with what you're doing within like the first 15 minutes just by listening to what people are saying about what they're not saying. So it's not really a tough thing for me. I don't try to work with people that are not ready, and everybody is not ready to shift, move, and transform.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to jump in real quick. Melissa Gibson wanted to jump in quickly on the question, and after she gives her comments, we can wrap it up and go to our next segment. Go ahead, Melissa.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for your question, Marisol, and thanks to everybody. Hi, Shira.
It's like we all know each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the last 3 years, this is exactly what I've been doing. I've been having these conversations with the public, at the interface between the plant and the public. And I can't tell you how many times I've had young people drag their moms, grandmothers, aunts, uncles over to talk to me and say, can you please convince them and tell them that cannabis isn't just about getting high, and it can help them. And I really respect what Maria was saying about helping the willing, but I think we can also guide them along by just pointing to examples. People like to see other people like themselves, and tell their stories, which is why every one of us can tell a story as to how we